What's going on, you guys? This is your boy RBG, aka the Random Black Gamer, bringing you another video and what seems to be the final nail in the coffin for Transformers Reactivate, because as you read by the title, it has officially been cancelled, which, if I'm going to be candid, I just gotta say that this really wasn't a surprise, because there have been so many glaring issues in regards to Transformers Reactivate, which mainly stem from the lack of updates that we got from the game following its reveal trailer. If you were diligent enough to stay up to date on everything regarding this title, then you know it's been a one-sided battle with the content creators versus the officials, that being Splash Damage and Hasbro. On one side of the fence, you have the creators like myself who just tried to give you guys something to keep you enthused, whether it be old concepts that we knew were very dated and didn't represent the final product, or what would have been the final product now that we know that this game is never going to come out. We just tried to make the best of what we could with the stuff that we had, because we knew that some of these ideas or concepts could be taken over to the newer build of the game that they were developing using Unreal Engine 5. But unfortunately, it looks like we'll never see these ideas fully manifested into an actual game, which sucks because all the things that we got from the pre-alpha builds were looking very promising. But anyways, the developers of this project posted this on their official Twitter handle saying, and I quote, "Today we have some very difficult news to share. The decision has been made to end development of Transformers Reactivate. This means we will be scaling down to refocus our efforts on other projects. Unfortunately, despite every effort, a number of roles across the studios are now potentially at risk of redundancy. This decision did not come lightly, and it's a difficult time for the studio and our people. We want to take a moment to thank the team who worked on Transformers for their dedication and passion. Hasbro was an incredible and supportive partner throughout, and we hope to work with them again. To the many fans, your excitement and support helped keep us going. While not being able to see the game through to release is painful, having to say goodbye to friends and colleagues hurts even more. We're now focused on doing everything we can to support them through this tough period, just as we are committed to caring for those who will stay with us as we build a stronger Splash Damage for the future. Thank you for your compassion and understanding." And I don't know how to feel about this, guys. I feel bitter, I feel betrayed, I feel like this company did not do a good job in terms of communicating what was going on with this project. Only thing we asked for was like brief updates, maybe give us an idea of what the gameplay would consist of instead of us relying heavily on leaks. But no, all we got was radio silence, which goes back to what I was saying. It was up to the content creators to do all of the heavy lifting to remind people that this game did exist, because we knew that there were a lot of TF fans like ourselves who were just salivating at the mouths to get their hands on a new Transformers game that was just as good as the War for Cybertron games, as well as Transformers Devastation, which are titles of a bygone era. Like, these games are limited in quantity and availability because of how they were blacklisted by Activision and Hasbro after their deal expired. And people who did have those games, we were just playing them for almost a decade now, just waiting until we got our hands on Transformers Reactivate. I don't mean to sound like a broken record at this point, especially for those who have been keeping up with all my updates on this, but this game has been in development since 2017. And before Splash Damage was announced as the developer for this title, it was originally Certain Affinity who was rumored to be working on it. And if you ask me, I feel like Certain Affinity pretty much did most of the work, most of the groundwork, establishing what they wanted this game to really be, which was a third-person shooter game with online elements. It seems like everything that we've gotten from all the leaks comes from Certain Affinity when they were working on this project, and I'm not really sure what happened to cause this transition to another development studio to helm the project, but I honestly believe that if they had stayed the course, this game would have been released a year or two ago, because it looked like at least 2 years of development time was put into it. While it was clear that the game was nowhere near finished, you could still get a general idea of what they were going for with it. The designs had a familiar yet post-apocalyptic aesthetic going for them, and the gameplay seemed to take a similar approach of the War for Cybertron games with a few modifications and things to make it stand out from its predecessors. I can only imagine how many millions were wasted for this project. You guys remember the toys were being manufactured 2 years before the official reveal for Transformers Reactivate, which the toys were plastered with the logos Transformers Rise on them, only for them to be updated later after we finally got that reveal trailer, which probably did more harm than good to Hasbro, since you guys had to keep in mind that they have to preserve as much shelf and storage space as possible when it comes to selling toys. They can't have these old toys sitting there collecting dust when they have newer toys that need that space to be sold. So that right there was a red flag in and of itself. And then hearing that this is going to be an online games as a service title only made me more apprehensive, because when it comes to online Transformers games, they have a history of being dead on arrival. I know a lot of you guys probably remember a game by the name of Transformers Universe, which was released all the way back in 2012. A game that was originally going to be an online MMO but shifted over to being a tactical action game, and it borrowed heavily from the Transformers Prime / Aligned continuity aesthetics. It looked to be a very promising title, and we got a chance to experience it in the online beta for 2 years before it was ultimately cancelled. Fast forward a few years, in 2016 we get the announcement that a Chinese developer by the name of Tencent Games was developing a Transformers Online game titled Transformers Online, which was a first-person role-based team shooter. And even though it was nothing more than an Overwatch clone, it at least had a nice design philosophy. I like how there were some unique designs mixed in with the Michael Bay aesthetics. Not to mention that all the moves that were copied and pasted from Overwatch were placed on the appropriate characters and it matched their playstyle. And I got a chance to experience the beta for that before it was cancelled in 2015. And this is why I was so apprehensive when I heard that Transformers Reactivate was going to be an online multiplayer game as opposed to just being a single player with online elements in it. Like, that's what we got from the War for Cybertron games. For the most part, you got a chance to play a stellar single player campaign, and then when you wanted to take the fun online with your friends, you could do that in online multiplayer and capture the flag and other online features. I just find it funny and a bit ironic that although those other games I mentioned were cancelled, at least I got a chance to experience them before they were ultimately shelved. We didn't even get a chance to see any gameplay for Transformers Reactivate, let alone touch a controller and play the game for ourselves. That's how underwhelming the marketing has been for this project. And there have been some rumors going on for quite some time now about what happened to get to this point. Like, I think the biggest sign that this game was never going to see the light of day came from that anonymous tip from somebody that was claiming to have worked with Splash Damage, who had nothing but negative things to say about the work environment. They went into details about how much of a joke the upper management was, and how the project continued to change leaderships and teams, and how some of the lead developers were holding key positions in the project management who cared more about holding their positions than well-being and the success of the projects. But the biggest statement that led me to believe that this game was pretty much dead was when this alleged employee said that they weren't making progress. All they did was make these pretty demo builds to satisfy the funders. Just reading that particular statement left a bad feeling in my stomach, and I just knew right then and there that we should expect the worst once we got the official announcement from Splash Damage and Hasbro. And here we are, just sitting here wondering why we wasted so much time investing into this game that was never going to see the light of day. Like, why even get our excitement up? Why release that trailer to get us hyped and reassure us that this game was even coming in the first place? What I will say is that I give Splash Damage credit because they have been able to keep us updated in some form or capacity by saying that they didn't have any announcements to give for certain years and that they would have to wait to give an announcement at a later date. Hasbro, on the other hand, they have said nothing. Zilch, nada. We went from Transformers Rise to Transformers Reactivate to Transformers Deactivate. When it wasn't hyping us up, it was causing us to be at each other's throats. Like, if you guys aren't aware of this, there has been an ongoing beef stemming between certain content creators and reporters who wanted to bring you the coverage when it came to Transformers Reactivate, but they wanted to be the top guy to do so. And we saw those content creators go back and forth over a game that wasn't even coming out. It's just a sad and disappointing time to be a Transformers fan, especially considering the current state that the franchise and Hasbro are in right now. Although Transformers 1 was well received by fans and critics alike, it flopped at the box office, and there's no signs of it receiving a sequel. And if you're a fan of Transformers Earthspark, then chances are you won't get a chance to see that have another season, since it's rumored that they're gonna can that show and start another Transformers show. And now we have the final confirmation that Transformers Reactivate is in fact dead and will never see the light of day on store shelves. But hey, at least you have that Transformers G.I. Joe crossover to look forward to, which nobody really asked for, so yeah. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. I just thought I'd give you my thoughts and opinions on this because you guys have been plastering that the game is dead, or does anybody want to tell him, on all of my older Transformers Reactivate videos. I'm well aware that this game game has been canceled, so you don't need to continue to put that in there anymore. This will probably be the last video I do on this video game unless any news or leaks come out regarding what went into the development and what caused it to ultimately be canned. But until then, we're just gonna let this thing fade out of existence. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this? Are you disappointed that you didn't get a chance to play Transformers Reactivate, or are you happy because you didn't want it to be an online only game? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, I ask that you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, you can give me a thumbs down if you want. But if you really enjoyed this video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers on all the different social media outlets. Sharing really makes a difference. But this is your boy RBG, aka the Random Black Gamer, signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.